Welcome, everybody, back to the third episode of the Vertical Play podcast, the special New Year's edition, actually New Year's Eve edition, if we're being precise. I also have my...
Hey!
Let's go. All right, and today we are going to go over, basically, it's going to be a Siege and review episode. We're just going to kind of be reviewing our year in Siege, the year in Siege overall, our opinions on it, and what we kind of want to see in 2020. So... obviously, joined today, I am with the co-host, Don, and we can go ahead and just throw right into it.
Yeah.
The first thing we're going to cover today is a year of Siege and review, kind of like the maps, the ops, the changes that were really big, stuff like that. Our personal years playing Siege, I think for both of us, we could say it's rather eventful. What we want to see the next year, our Siege 2020 resolutions, and then our favorite matches from Rainbow Six Esports over 2020. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and throw into a year in Siege and review. And you had those written down, I believe, correct?
I do. I was
Sweet.
prepared for once. Yeah. So year 4, season 1 brought us Burnt Horizon, which was the first season of year 4. We got Outback. And then we got Mozzie, Gridlock, and the newcomer playlist were the main highlights from that season.
I have to say, I think Burnt Horizon was my favorite season of the year.
Really? Why?
Yeah, there was just so much hype for me going back into it. So, like, I was really, really sick, and I got to watch the Invitational, and that's when they announced it, and it was so cool. And I watched the entire event, and I hadn't played Siege in a year. It'd probably be, I think the last time I remember playing was a couple games in Grim Sky, and I just really hadn't played Siege very much over that time frame, but then that really got me hyped into playing Siege again. So I think Burnt Horizon overall, it had so many good changes too. That was when Ash lost her ACOG on the R4C. There were a couple other really big changes that were huge. I think Shields got a nerf. The newcomer playlist was a big thing. That's when they were starting to do events like more regularly with the
Rainbow's Magic?
Road to
SI, yeah.
Yeah, Road to SI event. That was awesome. And then Mozzie and Gridlock are still my favorite operators of the year.
Yeah, and I guess we'll get into the operators as we go through it, but I would say it does seem like Burnt Horizon had the strongest operators of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember poo-pooing on Gridlock, thinking she was, not that exciting when she came out, and now I'm like, okay, yeah, she's amazing. And Mozzie's proven to be really effective as well. I mean,
yeah. I think everyone knew Mozzie was going to be effective, but it wasn't until G2 came in with that game against Mouse Sports on Cafe and just absolutely dominated with Gridlock that everyone was like, oh wait, we can actually do stuff with this operator. I think everyone just kind of was like 3 speed or 3 armor, no go.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was my big complaint. I was always saying when I was playing with the team, I was always like, I can't do the 3 armor for Gridlock at least, but she's strong. What do you think about the newcomer playlist? I know that was controversial when it came out.
I haven't been able to explore it enough to actually have an opinion on it. I've like, my account was already level 50 by the time I got on. Yeah, I wasn't able to like explore it. From what I've heard, at least from the people that I know, it's just a dumping zone. So when you for a lot of my friends that switch from PC to or from Xbox to PC, they already know how to play the game, and so they just get in newcomers playlists and they're able to like dominate. Which I guess it's kind of for that as well, where it's like getting used to keyboard and mouse instead of controller. So I feel like it's for that as well, but I do feel like it's not necessarily fair for new players because it's so easy to get a new account. Like how much of an investment is it really for somebody to buy a $10 account with a fake email, a fake username, and that kind of stuff, and just go dunk on people in a newcomer playlist until level 50, and then they can't go in it anymore and they buy another $10 account? How much of a struggle is that?
And on console it's free. Like on Xbox you can make like 20 accounts. Oh man. Yeah, I mean it's just free.
Man, that's a great point. On console that sucks. That's awful.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure it was, what was expected. I did like how it was only a couple of maps. Like that was a smart move on their part. So you learned, I think it was Consulate, Chalet,
And
one or
Bank.
two other maps. Bank. Okay, it's 3.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that was a good move on their part too, to make it small, easy to understand, and maps that they would see again in ranked. So that was smart.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think also Newcomer did the right thing about heading us in the right direction as far as adding new playlists to the game and kind of changing things up as far as playlists. That was one of the big things. They changed the rank playlist a lot in Burnt Horizon. They also brought it down to a 3-minute timer in Burnt Horizon. That was one of the big things because it was still on a I think it was still on a 4-minute timer for ranked before that. Is that right? Or was it 3 minutes and 30 seconds? I can't remember.
I don't remember. What I do remember they changed this year was diffuse timer in ranked.
Yeah, diffuse timer was.
I do remember that. That got raised.
I know they changed the timer, but I can't remember how they changed it. Because I think it had to have been 4 minutes. Because they brought the timer down in Burnt Horizon, and then in the next season, which I think was Phantom Sight, they brought the casual timer down to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I think. Don't quote me on that. I didn't do my research.
Yeah. Well, and my research, as we just discovered, has been limited. I literally have the operators, the maps, and like the big highlight from it. So
Right. I know they changed the timer.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing.
Right. But yeah, I think Newcomer brought a good. I think it was a good move. I think Newcomer was a good move in the sense that it brought in things later like Unranked, which I'm sure we'll talk about when that actually comes up. But Unranked was a better move, but I think Newcomer's the one that led into that.
Absolutely. You want to know what's funny is I actually did not see when Unranked was released as I was doing my research. That's super weird. Now that you mentioned Unranked, I got it.
Look it up.
I got what it was.
Oh, you got it? All right.
Yeah.
I think it was Phantom Sight, wasn't it?
Ember Rise.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yep. I just Googled it. So we'll get there. I'm glad that you mentioned Unranked because I did not even put that in.
Yeah, because that's a huge change.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What did you think about Burnt Horizon?
I was really excited about it like you were when it came out. At first, I loved Outback. Like, I'm not going to lie. When Outback first came out, I loved it. I loved the aesthetics of it. I liked how you could connect the two halves of the map just from that balcony or that little, like, stairway where you can go from Shark over to Laundry. Now, I personally cannot stand Outback now. It is my least favorite. One of my least favorite maps. But I loved it when it came out.
It did a really good thing. It was the first map that was, like, color-coded. And the callouts were a lot simpler on it. I think that was a really good move. But besides that, I mean, I agree. Outback, I groan when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's way too defender-sided. Attacking that map is horrible. It's really
There's
tough.
just no way to make any extra places to break in. It's like most other maps at least have one external wall that you can break into the map pretty easily. That has garage, and it's an absolutely useless position. It's just, I mean, Chalet's kind of the same deal. There's really no external walls to take out. Besides that garage site.
But for some reason, attacking Chalet does not seem as hard.
I agree.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's such a small map. You can just, I mean, there's more options to get in.
I think there's more double doors, more ways to get in. I find getting into Chalet is a lot like Outback, where it's very difficult to get into the site, but it's not nearly as hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Dude, I have got to ask. I'm sorry to ask. What are you smoking? You're on fire or something? Like what?
No,
what is going on with you?
It's this incense burner.
Oh, nice. Okay, there you go.
I got.
Works too. No, that's good. I like it. It's giving you a nice like ambiance. I just had to.
Yeah.
I just had to ask. Okay.
It's worked so much better in my room than candles because my mom's allergic to certain scents of candles, and so they make her like swell up and stuff. So this has been a lot better. It also lasts a lot longer. So
I love incense. I burn them all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You walk into the room even after like days after, and it smells great. Anyway, back on to Burnt Horizon.
Sorry for the tangent. It was driving me nuts. I had to ask. Yeah, Burnt Horizon. I mean.
Burnt Horizon.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the highlight of Burnt Horizon are the operators. They did really
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yep.
They seem balanced. I know, like, it was just today I was actually watching a video on YouTube from Pengu, just bitching about Mozzie, how he's like a no skill operator, and like, you can just lay them down and you automatically have utility. And I still think they're a balance. Like, they seem fair, they were
Mm-hmm.
strong. They've seen pro play, so they're at least not pieces of crap operators. That was a highlight for me, I would say, for Burnt Horizon.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Burnt Horizon also did, at least maybe this is more on the invitational than Burnt Horizon, but it did a really good job of bringing people back into the game. It wasn't just me that took a break during year 3. There were a lot of people, and I think there were some really good changes in year 3, but I think there were a lot of people who took a break who were close to done. And I think the Invitational and Burnt Horizon did a good job of bringing those people back. Now, the later seasons, I'm not so sure that it did a good job of keeping them, but at least Burnt Horizon got them there.
Yeah. I mean, if we were going to talk at the end on which year I think year 3 was a better year than year 4, but Burnt Horizon did bring a lot of people back. It definitely did. I think a lot of people were excited about Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It may just be that I know some Aussies, but they were super excited about it being represented in the game.
Yeah,
And I
that's actually
and they actually said that they felt like it was a good representation, like the operators and the map. And yeah.
good. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it was a good introduction. I think that's what we could say about Burnt Horizon. It was a good introduction to the year. Good move for Siege in general. Um, there weren't there. Maybe that was Phantom Sight where they did the temporary ban on those play on the certain operators. I think it was
I
Phantom
honestly
Sight.
don't remember when that was, if I'm being honest.
Because that was kind
Um,
of a big deal because that was the first time they did it when there were those exploits. I think it was like at the beginning. Oh, it was the beginning of Phantom Sight. I remember because they had a problem with the deployable shield, so they temporarily changed Warden's kit to have impact grenades instead of a deployable.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
So like that was a big deal, and that was during Burnt Horizon when there were those glitches, and they were awful. Like they were so prevalent. You would run into people with shields on their heads, and there was a thing where IQ would like turn invisible if she had a claymore out.
Yeah, she had to like hop up onto something, drop down, put down the claymore, pick it. There was like a few steps you had to do, and then yeah, you were
Yeah,
straight up invisible.
and it was rampant. It was bad. And then they just I think that was a good move was to temporarily disable the players or the characters. I think that's great. However, I'm sorry. I know that the reason that they took so long was because they needed to play test them and fix the problem and make sure that it was a permanent fix, but honestly, it took too long. I'm sorry, but there are other companies that do the same thing and it takes 3 days. I
Yeah.
don't think that's an excuse. I think it's okay. So it's kind of like when somebody has bad behavior. It's like it's not an excuse to the behavior, but it's at least an explanation. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I felt about how long it took. It's like, okay, at least I have an explanation of why it's taking so long, but that's not an excuse. It took weeks to have those operators back, and it's dawned again. Right now, we don't have Clash in the game,
Yeah.
and it's been how many weeks? How many weeks have we not had Clash?
3? More? 4?
Something like that. It's like I
Yeah.
don't notice so much because it's Clash because I never play Clash on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But still, it's like really like that's how we're gonna be doing it. Okay. I
Well,
don't
so
know.
and I have a friend on Twitter. He changed his handle recently, but it's Necro Goat Lord. It's one of the Aussies I was
Okay.
talking about. So
Mhm.
Christmas this year, if you did have all the operators, you got a free one.
I know what you're gonna go with. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got Clash. Merry
Yeah, he got
fucking
Clash.
Christmas, right?
I know 3 people who got Clash because they didn't buy her because nobody cares about Clash. They were
Merry
like
fucking
like
Christmas.
Aaron said he was like I got Clash because I refused to buy her.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. I just
Yeah.
that part like it does bug me that an operator's not in the game, but also it is Clash. How many people play her really? So
Unless, except on the professional level, like you'll see like Canadian and some people
yeah,
throwing out the Clash.
Well,
like, I
and
think
it's
Fabian, but yeah.
if you have a team that's really good with coordination, like you can work with somebody on her, I feel like she's a good op. But other than that, it's just useless to play her without team coordination.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same with Monty. It's like Monty's a little different because you're actually pushing. With
Still,
that
though,
Monty,
I mean,
yeah, you're still not gonna
Yeah.
get anywhere close to the use out of it. if you're not doing team coordination. So, all right, let's go into Phantom Sight. Go ahead and go there.
Yeah, so Phantom Sight, we saw the cafe rework.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 new operators, Nokk and Warden. Reverse friendly fire. And as far as I'm aware, Rainbow is magic. So that was the April Fool's event. So I think that was Phantom Sight.
I think that was Burnt Horizon, actually, because Phantom Sight would have come out in May, and Rainbow's Magic came out during April Fool's.
Well, in that case, let's talk about Rainbow's Magic either way.
Okay.
Because whether
it's
right. Whichever season. Yeah, well, I guess you're probably right. It was probably either the very end of Burnt Horizon or the beginning of Phantom Sight.
Yeah, something like that.
What'd you think of Rainbow's Magic?
Man, it was such a, like, looking back on it now, there are other events that I liked better. But Rainbow is Magic was such a great time when it was out. Man, it was so much fun. And it was so unexpected too, right? Like, it wasn't like Yeehaw mode, and it wasn't like Doctor's Curse, where we kind of saw when they were gonna come. It was kind of obvious. But Rainbow's Magic was completely unexpected. It was like, log in on April 1st, and there's like rainbows and flowers, and there's a Chachanka with a unicorn on your front screen, and you're like, what is happening? And so you launch into it, and you see that the map name is Air Cute 1 that's sitting in House's kid's bedroom, and you're like, what is happening? It was like a drug trip the whole time. It was so much fun. Rainbow's Magic was perfect. Like, I feel like they launched it well. It came out really, really well. You know, they did a good job of R&Ding it, where it's like, okay, we know people don't like fighting Glaz on planes, so we're going to take Glaz out of the picture. We're going to give them specific operators. The voice lines were great. The drone skins were hilarious. Everything about it was so funny. And I know that, like, people get triggered when these, like, cheesy cosmetics come into the game, but they're just fun. That's what it is. None of them provide any sort of tactical advantage like some other uniforms and skins that we've seen, but these are just like Aaron bought all of them, and he still has furry smoke. So I'm
not gonna lie, I really wanted the unicorn Tachanka. Like, I definitely, I was like, I really want this. I think I got the on Xbox. I had the weapon skin because at that point I was not yet on PC, so I was playing it on Xbox.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
and that was like. It's like, who didn't want the Monty shield that was pink? I mean, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had so many good things. The challenge was good, and like we saw in certain other events, the challenge was actually too much. Everything about it was perfect. The launch of it was perfect. It was replayable, unlike other events that we've seen, where, you know, sometimes during the second week of the event, there's less and less people. So. Yeah, I think it was good. I think Rainbow's Magic was really good.
The amount of work that had to have gone into that, because like every bullet hole, you had the stars pop up. I think they did something similar with Doctor's Curse, which we'll get to. But yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I did. I hope we'll get to. I hope next year we see more events like that. Honestly,
absolutely,
the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes such a brutal game like Rainbow Six Siege and just, you know, put some cotton candy on it and like a bow. And it makes it fun, you know, a game that literally is like putting your balls through a meat grinder.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit of like levity to it.
Yeah, we had a match like that earlier.
Dude, that was horrible.
It is just, it's like, it's almost impossible to be toxic on a map like that, or on something like that. It's like, people who were, you know, everyone knew that they were just being out there. So. Yeah, I think Rainbow and Magic was the most flashy of the events. I don't think it's the best, but I think it's the most flashy.
I'll be curious to hear which event you thought was the best. But yeah, it definitely, I liked it. I thought it was good. Cafe, what are your thoughts? So in Phantom Sight, we saw the rework of Cafe.
Man, Cafe was so good. I was so on board, and still to this day, I think it's the best map that came out of this year. I think Phantom Sight. I know I said Outback or Burnt Horizon was my favorite season. It still is, but Cafe was my favorite map. It's so good. Such a great rework. It was perfect. It wasn't too much. It was just little tweaks here and there, changing of some rooms and stuff. So good. Still love playing on Cafe, and I hated it before. I think they did a fantastic job with it.
It seems like they fixed the problem you originally had with Cafe, which was whoever was on defense last won, because you would defend the top floor and you'd always win. You would then defend the next floor. Kitchen was unusable, and then it would go back and forth, and the last one who'd be on defense again would go back up top and win. And it seems like they fixed that with the new rework. I mean, they added an extra bomb site, which was like the split between what you had, like reading room and library, and then you have train and library, or mining and library, and then you have kitchen and upstairs. Yeah. No, I love the Cafe rework. I think it's really good. And it's fun to play on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it really showed the competence that the map design team has. You know, I think everyone was still a little skeptical from the Hereford, where it's like, everyone was still really skeptical from Hereford, and we weren't sure what the next one was going to be like. And then they come out with Cafe, and Outback was good, but everyone was still like, okay, what's Cafe going to look like? And then we said, okay, they can definitely rework a map and do a good job. So I think Cafe, best map of the year, I think.
I agree. I also liked, because I could be wrong. And you in chat, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, because you know much more about map design than I do. But I
know who that is.
Yeah, right. I think Cafe was the first. We're gonna get to Canal. Hold your horses, bud.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I think Cafe was the first map where the soft destruction, right, where you had to shoot it twice to get through each panel, right? Didn't they do that on Cafe to start with? Where it took like 2 bullet holes to get through the panel. Wasn't that Cafe?
So. I think so. I don't remember.
Can someone fact check me in chat? But the upstairs, they made it much more destructible, like the whole bar you could actually shoot through. In Cigar, I'm correct. Cool. Okay. In Cigar, they opened it up more where you could actually do more soft destruction. It was a great map. Super happy with it.
Yeah. I think we can both agree that the worst part of Phantom Sight was the operators.
I was not a fan of the operators. Yeah, no.
No. I'm still not a fan of the operators. Like, they're always designed well, and the backstories behind them are always good. You know, they integrate well with the game, but their abilities were just so weak. And I understand that they were playing it safe on purpose. This was the first time we were getting recycled weapons. This was the first time we've put out like something that's sort of, I would say maybe I'm wrong here, but I would say this is the first time I really noticed them making operators specifically to a meta, but they made them late. They made them really late from those metas, and they just ended up being really weak.
So like what, Warden would have been super useful back when it was Ying, Smoke, Ying, Candela, drop down.
Yeah, it's like a year 2 season 3 strat, like back when I was actually playing it on Xbox.
Yeah. Back when Ying's had smokes. That was
God, that was insane. The room clearing potential Ying had when she first came out was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was made for a certain meta, and I don't think it went off very well. I think they played it really safe.
What upset me so much was Nokk looked so fucking cool. Like when I saw her, I was like, oh, that chick looks fierce as hell, super scary. This is awesome. And then I was just like, and I saw her loadout, and I was like, I probably have spent less than an hour and a half playing both those operators combined.
Yeah,
honestly.
I agree.
Like, I never really used them.
I have a dumb gripe with Nokk, and I know this is a dumb gripe. Okay, she's an amphibious assault. Like, she's from the frogmen, the Danish frogmen, right?
Yeah.
Which are notoriously amphibious. And so you'd want a gun that has the least amount of mechanical workings in it so that it would still function once once you pull it out of the water, it still functions, right?
Yeah.
Why in the hell did you give her a carbine kit? That's the most complicated shit. Like, it's like, okay, I gotta attach this barrel in there, and I gotta, like, rock it in there, and then the carbine kit doesn't even fire once you're finished. You gotta take the pistol out, and you got this big-ass barrel sticking off the end of it. Yeah, no. Why did you give her a carbine kit? It doesn't make sense realistically. And usually I don't go with the realistic argument, but it bothers me.
Should have gave her a Glock. I can tell you, Glocks, you can, like, yeah, you can.
Well,
dunk
isn't
it
that
in water,
technically...
it'll shoot.
Isn't that technically what an FMG9 is a Glock 18 in a shell?
Yeah. Of course, we'll never actually see a Glock in the game because I've heard that company is notorious for not wanting to license and give out.
The only game I've seen with a actual Glock license is Escape from Tarkov. Yeah. And I don't even know how they ended up securing it. It must have been that they have such a realistic display of guns, because they do. It's insane. So but their license is really hard to get.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I know this year was plagued with the reusing weapons, and like you said, this season was the first season where we really saw that. Like, okay, we're gonna start seeing these weapons reused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say about the operators. They were.
I don't really either. What was the big change to ranked in Phantom Sight? There was something that made me really excited for ranked, but I can't remember what it was.
Is that when they did the side switch, where you do 3 and 3?
Yes, that was it. Yep. And that made me super excited for ranked. I was like, why wasn't it like that before? That's insane. Because that was the first time I really started playing ranked, because I got back into the game in Burnt Horizon, and I don't think I played ranked until like maybe the end of Burnt Horizon, then into Phantom Sight. And that was when I joined the team. So besides that, anything else to say about Phantom Sight, really?
Reverse friendly fire.
That was a good change. It's saved a lot of people. I think it saved a lot of really toxic matches, because I think most people had gotten really used to the way that everything went down. So to be like, okay, I can kill this guy one more time. I can down this guy one more time. And you could grief people constantly. I mean, I will or will not admit that some of the people that we played with the other day kind of were experts on griefing, but
yeah. No, I think the reverse friendly fire was a great change. I mean, obviously, like we saw today, the toxicity is still going to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
But it helps. I mean, there's always going to be the issue of, like, if you solo queue and you're up with a 4 stack, they can just take turns every round killing you, and it doesn't make a difference. But it's a good step in the right direction. I also don't think Ubisoft is responsible to fix toxicity. I think we as a community have to do it ourselves.
That's true. I think they need to give us better tools to fix toxicity, but I don't think that it's their responsibility to fix it overall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, you can't hold them responsible, but it's a nice step in the right direction.
I agree. I think it does a really good towards combating it. I think the more weapons you can give us to combat it, that would be better. It's not like we can refuse to play with those people, because it's like, I mean, that's an interesting idea I just had. Like, what if we had a system where you could, unanimously vote not to play with somebody because of how toxic they were in a match, and either it makes it so, not necessarily that they're kicked, but that you won't ever queue with them again, or like you won't queue with them again that day or for such amount of time. And if those continue to stack up, that person gets demerits and gets in worse and worse matchmaking or something like that.
I know some games have a similar system, like League of Legends, I know has, or Dota maybe. I know there's games that have a kind of similar system to that.
Where one of them, I know exactly what you're talking about, where if you were considered a toxic player, you'll play with other toxic players until you get yourself out of there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to Phantom Sight.
Yeah. Do you have anything else about Phantom Sight?
Not really. There's very little to say on. So as far as changes on Siege, there's very little for me to say on it. But Phantom Sight was one of my most active seasons, I would say. So for me personally, it was a great season. But for the game itself, I think it did very little.
And I'm sure there's some stuff that we're missing here and there. I don't have the patch notes actually pulled up, but I did take
Right.
some notes like in my notebook. I mean, but I know throughout all of this year we had operator tweaks and changes. Like I think Glaz got changed in one of these seasons, Jackal recently. So there are more things than that we're not covering. FYI, for those.
Right. This is just kind of an overview of like the grand overview of everything.
Yeah. Now Ember Rise. I was super excited about Ember Rise because I saw the reveal at Raleigh Major, and I remember being like, "This season looks really cool." Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on Ember Rise?
Ember Rise was better than Phantom Sight, but only because of my perception of it. I really don't think it made that big of an impact for me. I still don't think it made that big of an impact for me. As Phantom Sight really didn't. The operators, like, yeah, Goyo was kind of better than Amaru, but Amaru was useless. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to get my 3 rounds of fun out of her and never touch her again. And that's exactly what happened. Goyo, I've touched every so often purely just as a secondary option for some of the guns that he has. But other than that, I can't remember one time that I've used his ability useful. And as far as the operators go, like, they were good. And I know we're running into a situation where we haven't seen Goyo in Pro League yet. And we'll see him in the coming couple weeks when Pro League kicks back on. But overall, I have not seen any good plays with Goyo.
See, I think Goyo, and you kind of hit on that. I feel like Goyo is like a 200 IQ requirement to use him. Like, I think you have to have a strategy for each site that you're going to take Goyo. The pros are all terrified of him, so I'm curious to see what they do with him because they're all going to be like permaban Goyo.
I'm excited to see what he can do, but honestly, right now, I have no idea. I haven't had the time nor the energy to put into trying to test to see the exact potential of Goyo.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch some Pro League, and I will be like, oh, that's a good... So I'm going to take him kind of like I do with Mira, where it's like, I'm only going to take her on specific sites that I know exactly how I should use her.
Absolutely.
Please tell me what to do, professionals, please, because I have no clue. I love his kit. I love the Vector. Speaking of Mira, love the Vector. We also got the new deployable shield in Ember Rise.
Oh man. Everyone was so mad about that when it came out, but I love it.
I love the shields.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, they're so good. So good. I think that was a great change. The shields are actually kind of useful now. It's like putting a little bit of the line of sight in an area where you couldn't have had it before. And everyone was like, oh, why would you ever play Mira now? Well, because Mira provides a completely different utility for line of sight. It's like, it's not even close. Like, yeah, you can use them in tandem in certain places, but like for the most part, they do very, very different things. And I think, man, they're so great. They actually snap to doors now, which is awesome.
They even snap to double doors. Like if you have a double door, it'll still lock onto one side of them. Now they're awesome.
Yeah. I think that was a really, really, really good change. And I think that kind of goes along with, like, we've saw some really great quality of life changes over the course of this year. Yeah. Amazing quality of life changes. I wouldn't say we've had the strongest seasons, but as far as changes go, as far as like the player experience, amazing. So many better things. And there was one this season that was everyone was super excited for. But I think like the biggest one for this season, like Ember Rise, is unranked. I think that was a huge, huge change.
Yeah, I loved the unranked. It was awesome because, like, for instance, and I don't think he's watching, so I can say this. Twitterless Nathan. I love Nathan. I've known him since I was a little kid. Playing ranked with him can be kind of rough, but I wanted him to have that same experience of banning operators, longer, more rounds, shorter round, like that actual experience, but without tanking my rank.
Right.
Unranked was awesome. That change was huge. I thought that one was brilliant. Amaru, do you have anything to say about Amaru? I mean, she's kind of okay. We'll move on.
I have nothing to say. Like, I have played Amaru exactly 4 rounds. 4 rounds.
I got maybe a good 3. Kill with her the other day on Chalet. I did that eat window and got a kill. I should have. That's
literally the only place Amaru does something that somebody else can't do.
she needs to not have the delay after she gets through the window, because it's bad enough the whole map can hear that she's using her ability. Everyone knows it's coming.
Yeah,
Once
but
she actually
that would be
breaches through the
so
window,
over. Imagine if you could breach through a window that somebody's not watching and instantly have your gun up. How overpowered that would be.
maybe
I don't
cut
know.
the difference in half. I mean, because
Yeah.
it seems like it's like a couple seconds almost.
I would almost
don't
say
know.
make her grappling faster and maybe not have it so the window is immediately broken. Maybe like she doesn't break the window immediately and she breaks the window as she goes through. That would surprise people way more. I feel like that would add a certain utility to her that she doesn't have now.
But keep that delay from entering the window to
Right,
ADS.
right,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe make it quieter so you don't know until she breaks the window, and then somebody actually has to move to react, and that gives her time to get her weapon up.
That's not a bad idea. That's not bad.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but she needs help because she's absolutely useless.
So I know this has been. Wait, someone's waiting for us to talk about this. So you want to talk about Canal? Do you want to talk about Canal?
Let's go ahead and talk about Canal.
So okay, so I think Canal compared to where it was, it's much better.
Oh yeah,
Much better than where it was. It's a huge. It's much better. I don't think I've played enough on it to speak in great detail like I can on Bank, Border.
Well, even Cafe.
Even
Yeah,
Cafe, yeah. I still
feel
think
like
I have a lot to learn.
I know that the maps are random. I know that the maps are random, but I feel like I don't play Canal very often. Maybe I'm just getting some bad RNG, but as far as
I know they've said it's random. I'm still taking data, and one of these days I will actually like put this into a spreadsheet and see. I feel like it can't be random.
yeah, I have no idea.
I don't think it is random.
Because you get like it's super weird. You get those new seasons, you get those new maps every season. I feel like more. So I feel like I played it a lot in Ember Rise, but I don't feel like I played it a lot since. So,
but I do like it. I like the quality of life changes. The color coding,
100%.
is a must, like we've seen before. And other like newer maps where you'll actually have like green stairs, red stairs.
Yes, the color coding in Canal is so good. Perfect. And I'm gonna go out. I know there may be people who don't agree with me, but I think Canal was a really good change. I think, I know some people say it's defender sided. I don't know. I feel like okay, so there's a feel that certain maps have as far as attacking where I feel like I have a good idea of how to attack a site. And I'm trying to think of a bad example. Like Chalet, sometimes I get very flustered. If an attack isn't going in one direction, then it's like, okay, well, I have 4 or 5 different other options that the enemy might be covering. Outback is a great example of this. It's like, yeah, but there's too many windows to hop into. How am I supposed to do something about this? But with Canal, I feel like I have a very specific way. Okay, radio room's a great, or radar room's a great example. It's like, okay, get this wall open. If you can't get the wall open, or in tandem with getting the wall open, you can take bridge. You can go red window. You can go green window. You can go from downstairs, either the red stairs or the green stairs. I feel like I have options that aren't automatically going to be covered by the other team because it takes so much dedication from the other team to defend certain things, like the wall, like the bridge. I feel like I have an option to be able to make it in. And I don't always feel like that on certain maps. Like Cafe, I feel like I have ways to get in. I have ways to attack. But with Canal, I feel like it's the same way. Defending's a little harder to set up. I think that would be my one criticism with it. I feel like it is a little hard to set up the site because a lot of them have a lot of open spots. So Radar Room is another, going back to that, where it has 2 double walls on the site between the bomb sites, and that's a lot to mess with. It's okay, where do I put my rotate? And I get it wrong sometimes. It's the bridge is a little hard to defend if you don't set it up with a couple shields. It's I feel like the defense side does have a hard time setting up sometimes. Oh man, kayaks is a great example of this. You know how it's how hard is it to have any upstairs control over kayaks? But besides that, I really don't have too many. I mean, it's one of a map that I'm oh, okay, I can actually do something on this map. I know where to play.
So apparently, need to look more vertically on this map, and it was
Okay.
made to fuck with people.
Okay. Fair enough.
Apparently.
And I'll fully admit, vertical play is my biggest weakness. I cannot see through bars very well. I have a problem seeing far away in general.
I mean, the one side that we always would attack vertically was the kayaks. Like we would always take reception, move into whatever that room is off of reception. See, I have played it so little, I don't even know all the call outs. But so you have reception, the room with the hatch above kayak. I haven't played a site that seemed undefendable. I can say that. Like they all.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying
valid.
at all that they're undefendable. I'm just saying that setting up a strategy for it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if it goes into pro play, what that looks like.
I think it's definitely a contender. It should absolutely be a contender for pro play. I can't believe that like something like I'm trying to think. There was a map I saw the other day. Like sometimes I think Bank isn't ready for pro play because like you have two really good sites, but then like the entire first floor above the basement is like completely useless as anything. Like I'm surprised that something like Canal hasn't taken its Bank spot in pro play.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Bank really does. You have top and bottom.
Yeah, it's like top and bottom, and that's it. Now, like, what do you do on the first floor?
Now, Ember Rise. Did we see the Yeehaw game mode? Was that Ember Rise? Because this year we saw Yeehaw and we had the Doctor's Curse still, and Doctor's Curse
it was either Ember Rise or late Phantom Sight.
Yeah, so we could talk about that. What did you think about the Cowboy?
That, dare I say, it's my favorite.
And Cowboy's your favorite one.
It's so weird because I usually hate single shot weapons that don't have large mags. So like revolvers and shotguns and stuff, I usually don't use in games because it's like I depend on my rate of fire a lot of times. Rate of fire and aim down sight speed is definitely plays into my playstyle a lot better. And neither of those guns had fantastic of either of those, but Yeehaw was my favorite. Like, the map was so much fun. There's so many Easter eggs to find. Like, the game mode was fun. They gave you grenades right off the bat, and so you could just eat them either at them or into their spawn. Like, that was fun. I had a really good time with it. I mean, and the cosmetics were absolutely fantastic. I think it's still my favorite cosmetics of the year.
The cosmetics were great.
They were awesome. I think Yeehaw was my favorite. It was definitely the one that I played the most and the one I want to come back. It's like if I could have Yeehaw mode as a warm-up. Like you know how Modern Warfare has that like 2v2 gunfight mode that they making a big deal about? That is a perfect warm-up. It's so much fun to play. It's like playing Search and Destroy. It gets you ready for something like Search and Destroy while just being basically 2v2 gunfight. And I feel like Siege could really do well with something like that. I'd love to see something like Yeehaw mode come back.
I'm sure something like that will be on our wish list that we'll go over.
Yeah.
soon. Yeah, no, I like the Yeehaw mode. I thought it was fun. So I was actually on PC when that came out, and I noticed the dramatic difference of playing it on PC and on console. That shit was hard on console. Only having Revolver and the Boss G. I do remember thinking, like, why isn't like there like a pump shotty? Because those existed in the Wild West. Like, why wasn't there like a pump shotty or like, you know? But anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed it. The cosmetics were awesome. It didn't get boring, and I liked actually having a map that was outdoors. Like that was unique to Siege. Having a map where it was completely outdoors. It was fun.
That was the one thing about Yeehaw that was really new to me was it never got boring. Like the other ones, after you play them for a week, sometimes you play a couple rounds the next week for that challenge, but for the most part they're good for a week. And Yeehaw, it stuck its ground. I had fun the entire 2 weeks of it.
What was the actual name of that game mode? It was not Yeehaw, right? Like I don't remember.
No, it wasn't,
I don't remember what it was called though.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeehaw. I like the Yeehaw.
I just got so used to calling it Yeehaw. Was it Bonanza?
No, it was not Bonanza. Dun, 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 dun. I don't remember what it was called, but the game mode was fun. I love the cosmetics. They definitely were cool. One of my favorite weapon skins was
Showdown.
from that. Showdown.
Mm-hmm.
The Alda, the weapon skin for the Alda looked really sick.
Oh yeah,
it looked really good.
Like Cavs cosmetics were really good. Alibis were great. Twitches were fantastic. So was Mavericks. Like I can't think of one that I didn't like. Honestly,
they looked good.
Yeah, I think that was a good game mode. I think that was like I said, my favorite of the year.
And then I guess sometime in between Ember Rise and Shifting Tides, we also got Doctor's Curse. Like, I feel like our timeline has to be a little off here, but either way, we got Doctor's Curse this year also. What did you think about Doctor's Curse?
It was very unique, and I think it was I know when people say it was very unique, they usually think of that as a bad thing. No, it was a good mode. It just, like I said, it didn't have that staying power. There were things about it. There were so many and I feel like this is probably part why. And I'm sure somebody in your chat could tell us that this is probably the case, but why they have such long development cycles for maps is because with that one and the mode, and they changed so many things about it, there were so many exploits in it, right? So it's like, if you played Initiation, you could just chill in that room and trap it off, and if you played it right, there was no way they could get in. But there were so many ways overpowered ways that the attackers had too, where it's like, if you just had 4 people play Pulse, and then if you had 4 people play Pulse, and then 1 person played Jackal, or not Jackal, Lion, and just have whoever's moving, you're tracking them, but you can see them through the walls everywhere. They didn't stand a chance unless they were in Initiation. So I think finding those exploits was so easy for people, and it kind of made it not very fun the second week.
Well, and the challenges also, I feel like, got kind of progressively more difficult. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Showdown challenge that was not completable. The one where it was what was it, 20 million headshots or something, where they had to go back and be like, well, that's too many. But I remember the first week I was able to do the challenge. The second week, I don't even think I made it through.
I don't think I even tried. I can't remember if I did or not.
I will say Doctor's Curse gave me many nightmares having to look at that smoke. Whatever you want to call
that. The squiggly. Yeah, the fleshlight smoke face. Yeah. Yeah,
still haunts my dreams.
Man, I hated how that thing wiggled. It was gross. But I mean, the cosmetics overall were very good. There were some of them in there that I really didn't like. The frost headgear was dumb.
But how cool was her uniform?
Her uniform was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then Doc's uniform was pretty cool. Bandits was neat. Legions was okay. But some of them were really good. The ones that were good were really good, and the ones that were meh.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they did something different, and I'm glad that Siege this year for their events were doing something different. When we saw Halloween last year, I mean, it was what? It was house. It was house.
Yeah, it was house with a darkened map with low lighting and good cosmetics. That's all it was.
Yeah. Great cosmetics. That's it. This year they definitely stepped up and tried to do different shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 100% this year as far as events goes, perfect. Keep bringing those in. Keep doing that. That's a great idea. Link it with the battle pass. I don't care. I like battle passes. What?
Oh, and that came out with Ember Rise battle pass.
Yeah, the 7-day battle pass.
When are we seeing more of that? That's coming out, right?
I imagine it's at the first of the year, or maybe around Invitational or something. It's got to be soon, because we were supposed to see it this season, as far as I knew. Yeah, but I'm excited for the battle pass. The 7-day battle pass was not great. I'll be honest with that. Harry was. It didn't do a very good job of explaining who Harry was. It made him look like a crazy person. If you actually read through the paragraphs that they put in there, it's Harry's schizophrenic. He's crazy.
Some would say most psychologists and therapists are a little crazy, I can tell you. from personal experience.
Okay, fair enough.
That most of them tend to be kind of a little off, but
touche. But
the cosmetics were, I don't think the purpose of it was to give us shit we actually wanted. I think it was just to get us used to through that like gradual exposure or mere exposure effect of once we see it a bit, we'll tend to like it more. Like
yeah, that's fair.
The more we're exposed to something, we tend to like it.
It did have the One Ring, and that was cool. The One Ring charm was pretty cool, but it looked like Lord of the Rings charm. It didn't look like a.
So you can take your G2 charm off all your weapons to wear the One Ring?
Absolutely not. What are you talking about?
That's my point. Is like I don't want cosmetics that are like. I mean, I'm not going to use any of that. Like I mean, weapon skins, uniforms, shit like that. I would love, but like, I gotta rip the EG charm,
Right, exactly. It's like, why would I use any other charm? It's like I can't use G2 on every single. Nor I don't think I actually would use G2 on every single operator. If it was a universal skin for a gun, maybe. But I think a charm is a really good way to get it across to all operators.
Yeah, I would use an EG universal weapon skin. If anyone's, I would do that.
Right, exactly.
I would use it on everything. Not uniforms though. I wouldn't do that on everyone, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with the battle pass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against it. Like some people were so pissy about it. I will buy the battle pass because I like to support the game I love. And
100%.
I bought the game two times, once on Xbox, once on PC. I've gotten the amount of return on investment has been huge. I will pay money to continue to support a game I love.
Absolutely. And I'm more likely to buy a battle pass with like confirmed cosmetics than a season pass with operators that I can get anyway. Honestly, like I didn't buy the season pass this year and I really didn't feel like I missed out on it. I just didn't really see the point. I would rather buy cosmetics that I could actually see and buy. So like I think every single event I bought $20 worth of the cosmetics, but that's because I could see and buy them. But with the season pass, it's like, okay, great, I get these operators early and I get some cosmetics, but everybody else who owns the season pass is going to get these too. I didn't really find anything that I really cared about. So yeah, I'd much rather do that. The battle pass where I get a steady flow of cosmetics and things. So yeah, I think I'm excited for the battle pass.
I'm excited to see what comes in it. I want a little bit more from it, but I'm sure we'll get more. I feel like this was just like a taste to get us,
Yep, absolutely.
And a amuse-bouche, if you will.
And we know, like, at least I'm well aware that they're going to be putting more of an emphasis on the story of Rainbow Six this next year. Like, that's just what they've put out and said so far, and what I'm hearing. So, like, I'm sure we'll get a lot of like more story-related cosmetics and things like that. So, I'm excited to see what comes out.
And that has been a change. That you kind of alluded to this year is I feel like this year they're trying to expand the universe more, the story of the game. It's not just to get in there and click on heads. There's characters with feelings and all that sort of shit.
Right. And the subtle change that I don't think a lot of people noticed was they actually went back through operators and expanded their stories. So like there would be like a couple paragraphs on their story, but they went back through and changed like tons of stuff. To get that. So yeah. Anything else on Ember Rise? Okay.
Nope.
I think we move on to Shifting Tides then.
Yeah. Shifting Tides, we saw 2 new operators, theme park rework.
I don't
care. A couple
care.
Other things.
I've said this on the podcast before. I'm very apathetic about theme park. I really like I didn't care about the map before. The rework changed it, but I really still don't care about the map again. It's okay, like, except for one thing. I think the one thing that they did add is instead of Initiation being the site that I really hate attacking, it's now Throne Room. Like, I feel like I play... I feel like I play Throne Room all the time, and I hate it.
Throne Room is rough. It's rough. I mean, the map, it's interesting, because it used to always be Drug Lab Daycare. At least in my play, it's always been Drug Lab Daycare, where like the like primary, secondary, and then Initiate was like the tertiary. Now it's Throne Room, and if you win Throne Room, then you may go to like Daycare. Drug Lab, I haven't seen played a lot, honestly. I've seen the other 3.
I've seen it very occasionally. I played it once today, but only once, and that's the first time I think I played it. To be fair,
So
I haven't played Siege as much this season.
So I mean, theme park is not my favorite map in the world. I like the changes to it.
Yeah, I like the changes.
It makes more of the map is usable now. I mean, it literally used to be like that whole spooky side of the map. You just were like, fuck off. I'm not even gonna
Useless.
go.
Useless.
That.
It was one big rotate for the defenders.
Yeah, so I do like that. But since you don't really care much, and I've probably have only spent 2 hours on theme park, so I don't know if I have a lot to say. New operators. We talked a little bit about them last episode, 2 episodes ago.
I think so.
Do you have any other thoughts on? I mean, we got Kali and Wamai.
I still really haven't seen Kelly's rifle being used. Well, I think that's sort of at least her rifle side is a 200 IQ play. It's like, okay, you got to be really good at aim. You got to have a snappy trigger finger, and you got to be on your toes the entire time you use it. And you can't use it close. It's literally, I think theoretically it's impossible to use up close because of the aim down sights and everything. Like, you have to switch off to something else. So I don't think her rifle's very good, and I don't see many people playing Kali. I think Wamai does such a better job of integrating himself into the game, if that makes sense. Where it's like, okay, Kali and Nokk and Warden and to an extent Amaru don't integrate themselves very well into the meta, right? Like, they just feel like outliers. They don't feel like Rainbow Six operators. They feel like abilities that you would have in a different game, and some, like, not necessarily, but you kind of get where I'm going with it. It's like they don't integrate well into the meta. Wamai does such a better job of just feeling like, yeah, that's Rainbow Six. That is exactly what we expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think you'll see Kali when Thatcher's banned, but that's going to be it. That's going to be the only time you ever see her.
And only during certain plays. You'll see her in ranked when Thatcher's banned, but that's it.
Yeah.
And some poor bastard's going to have to sit back on the edge of the map and see if he can get a kill through basement on consulate. Like, that's like, what else is he supposed to do, you know?
What about purple tarp?
Why did they get rid of it?
Someone's gonna find a way back up there.
They can't. Like, they made it. They made it no clip. They made it so it literally doesn't exist. You can pass right through it. You can shoot through it and everything. So you can't stand on it anymore. But
who was it that always finds a way back up there? Is it Coconut
Bra? Yeah.
I'm sure he'll find a way. He'll find some sort of.
He'll fly up there. He'll no clip himself. Yeah, he'll figure out how to no clip in Siege. Getting rid of purple tarps, I actually kind of have a strong opinion on this, strangely. I think it was stupid getting rid of it. I thought it was a really good angle to have, actually. Back in year 2, there was an exploit where you could get on top of the generators and get onto this one spot. So, you know that terrace that goes over the main entrance area where the cars are? You could actually get on that terrace and play outside the window. And I thought that was a really good spot. I was like, why don't they just make this a spot I can get to normally? And there's a lot of spots on Coastline. Tarps is another one where it's like, this is a good sightline for the attackers to have. Why can I not use this?
I'm guessing because the defenders had no counter to it, no way to really get it except for a run out. I mean,
no, like, you could shoot somebody, like where the terrace is at. You could shoot somebody from the penthouse window very easily, and the same with tarps.
Okay.
Like it's easy to shoot somebody. It's the same as like. I thought it was the exact same thing as Ruins, right? Where it's like, you can go play on Ruins. Like, you're going to get yourself domed by an ACOG on Defender's side, but you can go play in Ruins if you want to.
Yeah, I feel like Tarp was challenging because you could get at that perfect, like, incline to where you barely are peeking out at all, but you have the clearest shot. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know about the other one you were talking about above the cars. I'm not familiar with that.
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's probably it is. They actually allow them for 2 weeks where I'm at during New Year's, but that's fair with the tarps. But make tarps usable then. I don't know. Instead of like, I thought it was kind of fun that they had this give and take with their operators, or that not their operators, their content creators. Like, they do that sometimes, like with the whole Boss G ACOG thing. Like, it's fun when they make stuff for the content creators to kind of just get on a train about.
So that was something we got this year. Now that you mentioned it, what are your thoughts on Moppski ACOG? And then we can. I don't have anything else on Shifting Tides really. I don't know. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we've talked about Shifting Tides on the podcast to a pretty good extent.
Little Moppski ACOG.
I'm trying to think. How do I feel about Moppski ACOG? I really loved the back and forth of Moppski ACOG. I liked the Twitter. I liked the YouTube. I liked everything about it. But then when it comes down to it and the plays there, it just gave a tool to people who are like the only people who use Moppskis are sweaty. Like they get sweaty and casual, right? Like they're not going to use a Moppski unless they're trying to dunk on somebody in ranked. It's just being sweaty to casual players, and it just gives them one more tool. That's what annoys me. So, I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily a very good move. I think it was funny. It was funny when it was in the test server, and it gave people a reason to get on, but I don't think it should have made it into the real game. I don't think it should have made it into live servers.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, though. Will it happen? Won't it happen?
Right,
It's in the
exactly.
test server. Is it going to make it live?
And then Bikini was like having people like hiring people on Cameo and stuff.
What was that?
Like that was hilarious.
Name? Like,
Johnny Sins. Yeah, he hired Johnny Sins to do a Cameo stuff for it.
Ubisoft, please do Boss G plus ACOG. Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Much. Yeah, like you knew he had no clue what he
beautiful.
was talking about. It was funny. Yeah, I like that.
Nope. He also had that like YouTube guy that plays a scientist all the time. Love it. That was great.
I did not see that one, but yeah.
Anything else on Shifting Tides? I think we've talked about it a lot.
I feel like we have. Yeah, that's all I have for it.
Okay. What was your favorite season this year? What was your big one?
Oh man. That's hard. It's really hard to say. Like for me, I'm split between Burnt Horizon and Ember Rise. I think Ember Rise I really enjoyed just because that's when I started to try to play a little bit more competitively with Iron Mountain. I kind of had that like I was very invested. I got to see the reveal in Raleigh like live, so that was really fun. I'm gonna go Ember Rise just because of that. I think the events were nice, the Yeehaw and the Doctor's Curse. Yeah, that's for me. I would say
that's fair.
Probably
it was a good personal season for you.
Yeah, I would say that's more so. Now, content wise, I don't know much as far as the operators, but
right, perfectly fair. Yeah,
and you alluded to earlier, yours was Burnt Horizon.
Yes. Yep. Burnt Horizon kicked off so many things for me. It was so many things. It was getting back into Siege. It was a great season. It was me trying new things in Siege. Personal, it was a good time. That was when I got back into YouTube as well. Well, I was actually like making YouTube videos and stuff. I mean, it got me out of a really bad time in my life. Like so many things, Burnt Horizon was good for me. So I think Burnt Horizon, yeah. So I guess our next talking point would be our personal years playing Siege. And I think we have a lot to talk about here. Why don't you go first? What was your year playing Siege like?
So, I mean, I definitely hit some highs this year. My first time at Platinum on Xbox, that happened this year. And I'll get to that with my resolutions a bit too. But like, I tried not to make rank everything because I really don't think that rank is the all-encompassing of your skill and ability. But it felt really fucking good. Hitting Platinum finally, that was really big. I got a taste of trying to play on like a competitive level with Iron Mountain. It gave me a deeper respect, I guess, for what professionals go through. Not even trying to say I was close to that on any level, but trying to see what it takes to get to that level was very humbling. I mean, that was.
I feel like we didn't even we had just started the grind as far as what it takes. We didn't get anywhere close to what it really takes, but just seeing what the grind takes is insane.
It was humbling for sure. I mean, really, Also, this year is first time going on to PC. And I know I've always heard that playing on PC for Siege is a different monster. And I never really believed it until I got on PC and I was like, yep, okay, this shit is it's different. I mean, it's a different
Mm-hmm.
animal completely.
Mm-hmm.
I started streaming this year, so that was big for me. It's been a great year. It has. I would say content wise, I miss year 3, but year 3 was probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think content wise, I miss year 2. Year 2 was fun. That was
Year
when I
2
was
was
like,
fun.
year 2 was fun. Like they had some really wacky operators that came out. That was like Legion, Ying, Ella. That was when Ella was like massive. Like, oh my god. Everyone who was a sweaty Jaeger main was playing Ella.
She was broken on
Oh,
release.
so broken.
Ella on release was my first ace.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
Zafia, you had Dokebi, Vigil, like just so many good ops came out that year. So I think year 2 was my favorite. But yeah.
But what was year 4 for you like on Siege?
Oh man. Year 4 for me in Siege was massive. It's like, okay, so I took a break through year 3. So I really didn't get too much. I think I want to say, let's see, I stopped playing at Blood Orchid until White Noise came out. So as soon as Blood Orchid came out, I kind of stopped, got back on at White Noise, and then I stopped at Parabellum, I think. I kind of quit playing when Parabellum was about to come out. And then I didn't touch it again. Really, like I touched it for a few matches in Grimsky. That was it. But then I didn't pick it back up until Burnt Horizon, like shortly before at the Invitational, and that got me like, that was the first time I watched Pro League. So really, like I'd watched a couple matches maybe before, but that was like the first time I was like, oh okay, I can actually get into this. And then Pro League inspired me to like, okay, maybe I want to try to play on a competitive level, or at least like a minors level. So that inspired me to get Iron Mountain going. At first it didn't even have the name Iron Mountain. It was just like a team I was starting to put together of people, and I was even trying to join a team at first. That was me actually starting to care about my rank. That was me giving the game a lot more serious. Like this is me still playing Siege now is a testament to the patience that I've given Siege over this year, because most of the time I only play games for about 3 to 6 months, and then I'll put them down for about a year or two. So like that's just a testament to how much I enjoy Siege, is how much time I put into it. I've probably put 500-600 hours into the game this year.
I don't even know how much, like my total time.
It's tough to say. And I mean, I started making YouTube content because of Siege again. I started streaming again because of Siege. Now I've hit affiliate because of Siege. I met a bunch of really cool people through getting affiliate and actually streaming and networking through this game. It's been a really, really great time. It got me back on my creative wagon, which the job I had at the time just had me off of. Like, it was so tough. It was a really tough job, and I just got back on, and I was super excited to take things seriously again. So it's been really good for me. Can't really think of anything else specific.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our journeys were kind of similar this year. I mean, we both hit affiliate. We met some cool people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never lost my love of Siege since I started playing. I mean, it's
not necessarily a loss of love. Like Siege is, it's still like, even when I'm not playing it consistently, it's still the community that I want to be a part of. It's more just like boredom with the game itself, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's been a good year.
Yeah, I think so. So, what is it that you want to see next year? What do you want to do with Siege, with streaming, with what do you want to do?
So is this a wish list that I hope Siege does next year, or is this like my personal what I want to see?
Let's go ahead and do a Siege wish list first, and then a 2020 for yourself.
Okay, so I want to see a Chalet rework, or I want it fucking out of ranked. So I either want it reworked or yeet it out of here is what I want to see. That's number one. That's number one on my list. Client side debris gone. I want to see that go away too. New weapons would be nice. What about you? I could probably keep going on and on. I don't want to steal some that you may have in mind, but
Yeah, you've covered pretty much. Like, I just want to see operators that are meshed with the meta well. I want to see more of an esports focus in Siege, so I want an esports tab.
By an esports tab, what do you mean by that?
In game, I want an esports tab that shows me, okay, EG's playing Rec on Tuesday at 8:00, and I want like a rundown of like the last couple weeks. Here's how the matches went in game, so I don't have to like that way. Like, think about it this way: so you're streaming, right? And you need something to do while somebody's taking a break for a second or whatever, or you're taking a break from a couple matches because you're solo queuing. You hop over to that esports tab. Instant discussion topics that you can hop into. You can go into, hey, this is what's happening in esports right now. What do you guys think about it? Like, that's such a great thing. It gives people more access to esports. Right now, you have to go find their Twitch. You have to go find, and God, heaven forbid you try to find Challenger League, right? You have to follow the right people.
Oh, yeah.
You have to like go into covert ops and try to find the Twitch channels that actually stream it. Like, I just want that information given to me readily, and I don't know if that means that we get a different provider than ESL, or there's more of a combination with ESL. I'm not sure what it means, but I really want esports more into the normality of Siege, or we're going to lose the opportunity. I think we may have already be there. There's a lot of people who are saying it. I have more hope than that, but I hope that we don't lose the people. It's like, well, I don't care about esports because I've been playing this game for 5 years and I haven't cared to this point. Why would I care now? I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I would need to see the numbers if viewership is actually going down or not. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's still slowly rising.
I do like the idea, though. I do think getting rid of ESL would be a good move, but they've had some controversy this year.
They have, and I think there's a lot of stuff that was fair. There's a lot of things that are fair of ESL, like ESL's fault. There's other things that aren't very fair that people have said about ESL, and I don't think they deserve necessarily the criticism that they've gotten. But I don't know if it just means switching studio and ESL, because I've heard a lot of really not so great things about Poland, their Poland branch, which is where Siege is operated out of.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some great stuff, like whoever's running their CSGO, top notch stuff, right? And that's probably just a different branch of ESL running it. That's what I'm guessing, but I couldn't say for sure.
I don't know. But I guess those are my big ones as far as my wish list. I mean, obviously, I would love for EG to win something. Damn it.
Listen. I'm right there with you. I'm there with you.
Yeah, I would love that. Man.
But I think as far as Siege is, just keep doing what you're doing. You're making quality of life changes I could have never thought about. Continue to do that. Mm-hmm. Like this year, Siege has exceeded my expectation as far as quality of life changes and making the game more enjoyable to play on that smaller level. Continue to do that. That's what will improve the game. Like, they made a big change like that a long time ago with the netcode, because I remember when Siege first came out, netcodes were all over the place. Like, it was very rare that you had anything under 100 ping, and when that changed, the game got so much better. And they made changes like that, like unranked, the ranking system changing, ranked going to a 7-second timer on defuse and plants, the timer going down, the map pool getting less and less. I think they've made a lot of really good moves. Continue doing that. I'm completely cool to see that.
I agree. I would also love to see, whenever it's going to come out, Outbreak, Quarantine, whichever that new game is. I forgot which one it's called.
They delayed it to
Quarantine.
Yeah, Quarantine. Quarantine's what it's called.
Is it 2021?
No, I don't think they delayed it by a year yet, but they did delay it. I think they delayed it to like fall of next year. Because Breakpoint fucked them. Ubisoft expected Breakpoint to make a lot of money, and it didn't. and they know why. Like, I think that their press release for that was very smart. They said, look, we know that because Breakpoint came out kind of a shambled mess, and because Wildlands really hadn't run its course yet, that's why we didn't make money. And that's why they're like, we want to make sure that it's a good time to release these games and they're well polished before they finish. I hope that they live up to that, because I can't think of a Ubisoft release in the last 6 years that came out that wasn't broken, first off.
Yeah.
And I hope that they're living up to that, and that they're going to release a polished, finished game that doesn't have a break. Because, like, when Siege first came out, the netcode was bad. The shotguns had headshot multipliers, which was insane. You could cross-map snipe people with shotguns. And, I mean, Wildlands had its issues when it came out. Trying to think For Honor was another one that had a bunch of issues coming out. But they're all great games now. Like, Wildlands is a great game. Even Breakpoint's starting to get there. For Honor, it's not my style, but it's a great game for the people who like it.
It's fun. I like For Honor. I suck at it, but I do like For Honor.
Yeah, I'm so bad. It gets me. Like,
it's tough. Tough.
There's a video on my channel of me just 5 minutes of screaming. That's all it was.
It's tough, man. That game is tough.
It is so difficult.
Yeah, it's not an easy one.
Yeah. I do wish that I hope that Quarantine is great when it comes out. Please integrate my cosmetics into Quarantine. Don't leave me hanging.
That'd be cool.
Please.
That would be cool. Doubtful, but cool.
Yeah. X to doubt. Let's be honest, but
yeah, it's not gonna happen. But that would be really cool if it did.
Yeah. Maybe Outbreak is on my 2020 wish list. I think it is, because I'm like super excited for it. I
am too, awesome. And I got multiple people who want to play it. Like, I know Turnos Nathan does, Colorproof wants to, you and I will play. I mean, yeah, I got a whole squad that we can run with on it. So
if they give me enough to do in that game like they do Wildlands and make it fun, I'll be playing that all the time. Yeah. Like, it'll be a good co-op mode for me to play. Give me challenges. I am down for that.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Okay, now I think we go on to personal resolutions for Siege in 2020. Siege, streaming, YouTube, content creation, that sort of thing.
You want to go first?
I can. I think my big thing this year is I just want to find... I still feel like, as far as a stream, and this is being kind of honest, I still feel like as a stream, I've hit a point where I'm in the right zone, but I haven't found the niche that I'm gonna fill yet. And that's what you really want to find as a streamer, is find that niche that you fill. What sort of thing, either that be comedy, gameplay, commentary, what is it that I'm gonna fill? And I want to find that this year. And I really just want to continue to grow in the Siege community. Like I said, even when I wasn't playing Siege, I still felt myself a part of the community because of the Reddit, because of Twitter, all these things like, and I just want to continue to be a part of that, even if I'm not actively playing Siege. So whether that means I get into game commentary or analysts, which, just getting into that side of things, that I still get to be a part of it, even if it's not my main game playing right now. As far as Siege itself, of course, I'd like to hit plat. I think when we put out the Twitter poll, that was a lot of people's main goal this year, is to just hit plat, and I'd really like to get there. Siege is my sweaty game. It's the game I take my rank and how I play rather seriously. So, I think that's kind of where I'm sitting for Siege this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've hit plat on Xbox. I'd love to hit it on PC. Obviously, I want to grow the stream. At some point, I would obviously, I want to see this podcast keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy doing this with you. At some point, I want to dabble a little bit on YouTube, but we'll get there. I need to get some more hard drive space on the computer first before that.
That's fair.
But my big ones, I mean, I definitely want to hit plat. I also would love to not let rank define me and not get down or butthurt if I D-rank, or if I'm right now I'm stuck in silver hell. It sucks, but I would like to not feel that burden from it.
Yeah.
That's a good goal.
And I definitely feel that Siege has always been a game that my friends know they can make fun of me and trigger me because of like where I sit in Siege. And it might not even be that I suck that bad. It's just they could say you suck at Siege and I'd get on a tangent of why I don't suck. So I think I just kind of want to, like, at the same time as I want to take it more seriously, I want to take it less seriously personally. Like, stop letting the things define me as the games and just have fun. Just have fun. You know, that's what Anarchy was saying. Yeah, Anarchy was saying in chat earlier. She said, yeah, I suck at video games, but I just giggle the whole time and have fun. And I was like, I want to be more like that. Like, I just want to have fun and not get sweaty. So, anything else as far as 2020 resolutions, content creation wise?
No, I just want to, for Lakota / Jack, one resolution I have is to not get into the corner and accept death. I'm going to keep working on not just going into a corner, getting in the fetal position, and accepting death. I feel like I've done better on that, but you know, yeah, that's always the goal.
That's so funny that you say that, because one of the things that he told me, it definitely still lives in my head. You know, when you get into like a 1v3 and you get a kill, like immediately my brain goes, stand up, stand up, stand up. Yeah. I think I feel like that's something we need to like probably discuss here during the 2020 resolutions, is like playing on the team. That was a big deal. We did it for quite a while. I think you were on it for 4 months, something like that, 3-4 months.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I think I played on it for like 8 months out of the year or something like that. I played it for a majority of the months. And I decided I really don't know if it was necessarily like the team that we had, or it wasn't that maybe competitive isn't cut out for me, but things weren't working incredibly well. And it just came down to it. Like wasn't having fun anymore. And so like, it was good. It was so good to get out there and try it. And I'm not saying, like I said, it's not the team. It's not the team. We've said that when it happened. It's not the team at all, not the people or anything. It's just, I don't think I was cut out for it. And I really like, man, when Jack came up with the idea that I continue with the content creation and he picks up the esports side, like we really went into overdrive as far as content creation. And I think that's really where we at least me and you set best.
Yeah.
Is in that content creation side of things. Like this podcast came out of that. The clip of the week came out of that. I have put like way more videos on my YouTube channel than I did when I was playing on the team. Like, yeah, I think it's been the best move, and I'm really excited to see, and I think this goes on my 2020 resolutions, to see where Iron Mountain as the community organization can go with more content creators, with an esports team that's actually in leagues and things like that. I'm excited to see what we can do this next year as a brand. I think it's going to be really cool.
I agree. I want to cheer that, but it's too far away. I was going to grab them. And, fuck it. God damn it.
Thump, 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 thump.
Yeah, I was going to be like,
love it.
But anyway, but yeah, no, I agree. I think it's, you know, only good things to come. I agree with all that. I do.
Yeah, I think we had to try things. We had to try things to figure out that we didn't fit well.
Yeah, I concur. Other resolutions, I mean, I'm not going to peek the damn same angle over and over again. Not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to let a bad match or round break the mental. Like my mental game, that's something I want to work on too. But
mental game's a huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely
do a whole damn episode on mental game, honestly. But
yeah, you're right. And like one thing for me is definitely being more positive for stream. I know right now stream is the most positive thing for me. I get really excited when I'm about to go live. It's a little tough during this season because there's so much going on with the holidays and stuff. But like I get excited when I get off work and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stream tonight. Like I get so positive about it, but then I get like salty in game and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to make sure that I continue with that energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we got our Siege 2020 resolutions. We got that down. I think we're just down to favorite matches of the season as far as esports go. You go ahead and go first. What were your favorite matches of this year? We're gonna stick to 4, and I think definitely we want to hear from you guys on this one. Like, what are your favorite matches this year? What did you guys think of esports as far as Siege goes? How did you feel about the whole year? What did you guys think? So you go ahead.
So when you proposed this idea, I really loved it. I had a hard time with it. Because like this year they ramped up the amount of games.
Mm-hmm.
We saw so many more, like, I mean, every day or almost every day of the week we had pro games going on. I feel like I would be not doing my duty if I didn't say, in my opinion, the best game of all year was G2 versus Empire, SI 2019,
Mm-hmm.
Coastline in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I know pro play for Siege isn't like years and years and years and years old, but this match, if you haven't watched it, it's the longest in history. Went 22 rounds, hour and 34 minutes of nonstop gameplay, back and forth. Because that's when they first introduced the had to win by 2 rounds on overtime, like unlimited overtime, and they brought it. It was a really good match. Anyone who hasn't seen it should go back and watch it. I mean, in my opinion, it was the best map of the year.
No, yeah. That was a great storyline map too, because of the whole, like, it went 22 rounds. That's so nuts. I know this is gonna make you, like, it's a triggering moment, so please prepare yourself. Sit down. Honestly,
I am sitting.
Well, sit down harder. I think as far as storyline and everything, and one of the best matches and best comebacks of the season was the EG versus Empire game in Season 9 Pro League. I know. If I say white stares, Don's brain has Vietnam flashbacks. He can hear the napalm.
It's Space Station's problem now, so whatever.
That's true. That is very true.
But you're right, though. That was a good match. I mean, you're absolutely right.
Oh man, like I had written it off. I'd written the match off. I watched the whole thing. I was like, okay, EG's won, great. And then the greatest comeback of the century came out of Empire, and as soon as they started dominating, they were just like, and they took everybody to the clubhouse. They took everybody to the clubhouse.
No, it was good. I mean, it was. Obviously, like, it hurt that, but it was good. It was a good match.
It's one of the best storied, and I was like, it's one of those things where you're sleeping on it. You're sleeping on it, right? Like, this was me and Navi during Japan. It's like sleeping on it. Oh my god, where did that come from? That was Liquid versus OGA in OGA Pit too. Damn, that was insane. So, what was your second favorite?
So I went back because I wanted to find a match that EG was kicking ass. That's what I really wanted to find. So it was Season 10 Pro League, Space Station Gaming versus SSG. It was their last match against Space Station. It was one of their last shots to get to Japan. They won 7-4. It was on bank. It was a good match. It was the first match that they had when they lost Canadian, and they picked up Modiga. It was solid. It was a great performance. Worth watching. It's hard because I wanted to find a good EG match, and I'm sorry, we had a shitty year. EG fans, we had a shitty year. So that's probably, it was the last time they've won.
Even though G2 won SI 2019, like, that's the last time they were dominant, really. So, I mean, I'm 100% with you. It's been a really bad year as far as G2 fans go. It's like the EG of Europe.
It is now, yeah.
Yeah,
welcome to the club.
I'm trying to decide which out of these are my second favorite. Probably the Liquid versus SSG in OJ Pit. I love that game. That was so good because it's like, you're going into this match. It's like, all right, so you've got the tiers listed out in your head. You got EU, NA, LATAM. Well, actually, in some cases, I would put APAC above LATAM, but in this case with Nora Rengu there, I would put LATAM, APAC. First off, EU's out in the out in the quarterfinals, and you're like, wait, what's happening? And then you see that LATAM is crushing people. MIBR crushed G2, and you're like, what is happening? And then when Liquid pulls it off at the end, you're like, okay, apparently I'd been sleeping on this the whole time. and I'd been sleeping on Liquid. I was sleeping on MIBR, and they just came out of the gate running. And I think that was one of the things where I was like, I was glued to my seat. I was so excited. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now.
It was a good match. 100%. Yeah, it really was.
All right.
It was good.
Third favorite?
So for me, I would definitely say, going back to an EG match, they didn't win. But if you wanted at the edge of your seat, back and forth every round, EG versus TSM at US Nationals. It was fun because you also had the whole mix of the mind play of they each knew each other because, you know, you had their previous coach for TSM who used to be the coach for EG is now back onto EG. EG's player got Geo is now back on is now on TSM. It was a good match, and it only went 2-0. EG lost, but it was a nail biter the whole way. Like, it was not like a clean sweep for TSM. And I feel like for me, what I like about that match is it gives me hope for this next season coming up. They didn't perform poorly. Like, they really didn't. I think with more time, they may be able to make it work. It was a good match. Honestly, I could have pulled any damn match from USN besides the finals. They were all really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, USN was good. And I tried to vary which ones I pulled from because, like, there were some events that I was super on board with and watched the whole thing, and some that I only watched a couple matches and stuff, and that I was, like, the event made me excited, so I don't know. My third favorite, we're on fourth. No, we're on third.
Well, I only have three, so if you want to go with your next two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have actually three more. I have three more.
Go for it.
One of them is going to be when the G2 prophecy was still real and they could still go to Pro League. The Chaos game, when they pulled it out of their butt and Fabian ended up clutching the round. It was like it was 7-7 overtime. Okay, whoever won this round, and Fabian got the final kill and the dream was still alive. I yelled so loud the neighbors stared at me. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, he pulled it out of nowhere. Like, that was one of the most hype games for me. Oh, I loved it. That was so good. And that was like that wasn't even like an event. Most of the ones that I pulled were like events. But this was just a normal Pro League game. It was so much fun. The other two that I have on here is just the SSG versus G2 Invitational game. I rewatched that again today. So good. Like, you come out the bat thinking, all right, G2's going to win this. They're stomping SSG. And SSG fights every second and just fought and fought and fought. And you know what? We finally saw that fight pay off in USN. And we started to see in OGA that SSG is a dominant team and has the ability to be a dominant team. And I can't wait to see what SSG is going to do again, even though G2 won. And I'm happy that G2 won as a G2 fan. But SSG, like, man, they were really showing their true colors that match. And the last one I have is the TSM versus Liquid game in DreamHack Montreal. It just showed that NA has some dominance left. They have it. They've got it.
Yeah.
It exists. It's there. We just need to see it this next year, honestly.
And I think we will. NA is starting to look pretty good. I think they finally got their shuffle down. You know, SSG, TSM, Dark Zero, if they can pick it up a bit. They haven't shown that at LAN yet, but online they're a killer. But yeah.
I'm excited to see what changes come out at the Invitational event. That's like the New Year in Siege, isn't it? Honestly, it's like, here's your New Year's presents for Siege. I'm excited to see what the game's going to change because I know they have, like, I've heard so many people, like, they're like, we have to keep our mouths shut, but we're so excited to show you what we have as far as the game, as far as esports, as far as events and everything. I'm so excited to see what this year has in store for Siege. I think it's going to be really cool.
It's going to be a great year. And if their plan comes to fruition, we got another 5 more years. Like, they've talked about a 10-year plan. So
I hope so. I think if they can make this next year 5, you know, the first milestone really, because, like, what is it normally, 5, 10, 15, 20 years are milestones, right? If they can make this year the best milestone and the best year for improvements of the game, they've got it in the bag. They've got those next 5 years without a doubt. I have no doubts that they will be able to get to a level of like CS:GO where it's like, oh yeah, Siege is there. Siege will always be there. CS:GO is always there. Yeah.
I hope so, because this game definitely, I'm hooked. I definitely hope it has a long life.
Mm-hmm.
So
even though like it's not always my main game, because like right now I think most people who are on my channel have seen me play Modern Warfare more lately, but it's like Siege I can always go back to. I can always play Siege. Can always like fall back into that game pretty easily. Of course, you know, the learning curve getting back to it's a little rough, but like you can always do something. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, I don't think we have anything else. We're going to keep the podcast up for the foreseeable future. Tuesdays at 8:00. We're going to keep it at the same time. Hopefully we have some guests coming up in the next year. We want to have Alex Coda or Jack, who is our esport. He's our gameplay manager. He's like our esports. He runs the team on Iron Mountain. So we want to have him on, and then some of the players, I'm sure, at some point as well. But besides that, that's it for today. I want to thank y'all for coming out. And we'll be back again next week. See ya.
Happy New